and I'm joined now by Joseph and Nathan. And guys, we've both had our fantasy drafts, and let's start with Joseph. Joseph, give us your impressions of not only the draft this year, but kind of the overall pool of talent and where they're slotted based on position.
I mentioned this last year, but in our league last year, I had the last pick in the draft, which is a ticket to a bad season automatically. So this year I had the fourth pick.
Right, fourth pick.
Ended up getting Derrick Henry. So, I think this year, as far as the pool of top talent goes, you're looking at, if you have a top 6 pick, you're guaranteed to probably get one of those top running backs.
Right.
I don't have the list in front of me, but McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Barkley,
right,
Henry, and then
right.
Kamara and
right.
Ezekiel Elliott maybe slides in there.
Right.
And then after that, it's kind of like, okay, what route do you want to go? And you guys took Kelsey, right?
Right, we did.
So you took the top tight end, who, if you look at these ESPN fantasy projections, which I don't really know how they come up with these, for their projected points this year, Kelsey's projected to get just as much, if not more, than a lot of the top running backs. So
right.
And it's a point per reception league. So he's going to get all the receiving points more than the running backs, obviously. So I think it's kind of a toss up, whether you want to just, depending on what pick you have, whether you want to go receivers or running backs. But again, I really only felt like really good about maybe 3 or 4 players.
Right.
And I think Henry's one of them if he can just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, Nathan and I shared a team again this year as we did last year, and I'll let you talk with Nathan about, last year I think we had the 8th pick, if I'm not mistaken, and we took Kelsey because really there was no other running back available at that time. Yeah. This year we had the 3rd pick, so we could have gotten one of those running backs, but we had a discussion and decided on Kelsey. So talk a little bit about that to kind of leverage off what Joseph was saying.
Well, yeah, last year we did that, but it was a little more out of necessity because there weren't really any top running backs.
Right.
But I think we discovered as the season went on that was a good strategy regardless of where you pick, really.
Right.
And I think we decided that really, well, at the end of last year, I thought, okay, if you can't get maybe the top 2 or 3 running backs.
Right.
Like Joseph just named about a handful, they're like maybe 5, but I would only consider really Derrick Henry and probably McCaffrey as the only 2 that I would take above someone like Kelsey.
Right.
And we had the 3rd pick.
Right.
So the more we talked about, really, I think even if you can take one of those 2 running backs, I think Kelsey may be the better pick.
Right.
Especially if it's a point per reception league.
Right.
And these running backs, especially McCaffrey, they take a lot of beating, and you just never know what you're going to get with a running back as far as staying healthy for all 17 games. Right. Whereas a receiver, they don't have as much toll and hits on their body. It's point per reception is a big thing.
Right.
So really, I think we would have taken Kelsey if we had the number 1 pick, wouldn't we? I mean,
I think we would have.
Because I don't think anybody picking ahead of us changed our idea of what to take.
No, they didn't. No.
And then typically my thinking is, I'm saying that I really do not value running backs after the first 2 or 3 running backs.
Right.
In this draft, I would say after probably Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, and maybe Cook.
Right.
Maybe Barkley. After those guys, I don't really value running backs.
Right. Well, go ahead. No,
what I was going to say, so I think take a top tight end like Kelsey first, especially if you have a point per reception league like we do, and then start looking at top receivers.
Right.
But as someone in our fantasy league brought up to us during our draft, they thought that after we took Kelsey, they thought that we took receiver with our 2nd pick, I believe.
We took
we took a quarterback. That's
quarterback.
Right. But someone brought up to us that they thought we were going to go with 2 top tight ends instead of a receiver.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? I never thought of that. But that's really a great idea because
put one in the flex.
Right. If you take Kelsey, let's say with your first pick,
right.
And then let's say you have an opportunity to take a pretty good receiver. You know what I mean? Like top 5 receivers, top 10. At that point, you're probably going to still be able to get someone like Kittle or Darren Walker at tight end.
Right.
I think those guys are better than most receivers.
Yeah.
Because they get more receptions probably. And these guys nowadays, a tight end is not like what you think of like a tight end. It's like they line up in the slot.
Right.
They do all types of stuff with them. They're really like a receiver.
Right.
And top receivers are going to go quicker than top tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be able to get 2 top tight ends. You're not going to be able to get 2 top receivers.
No.
So I think that's a great strategy too when we're looking at your 2nd and 3rd pick.
Yeah, and we decide. Go ahead, Joseph. I'm sorry.
No, you can finish that, and I wanted to talk about the running back.
Yeah, I was going to go right to you after this point. Was that we decided to go quarterback with our second pick, but that's a little deceiving. We wanted to go dual threat quarterback.
Right.
And that's because we realized that a guy that can throw it and run it is more valuable. And quarterbacks have kind of fallen out of grace over the last few years.